Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Anyway, the cooking show where I teach you how to make simple things with simple ingredients. Today, I'm going to be making myself, for lunch, a sort of Filipino breakfast. Now, I'm not sure if it actually is Filipino breakfast, but it's like a breakfast that I would have at my house. It's basically a kind of breakfast-y fried rice. It's rice, eggs, some garlic, and then whatever leftover meat you would have. Normally, kind of serve it on the side, but I'm gonna put it in the fried rice, so it's one whole dish. And for my leftover meat, I have spam. You know, speaking of the leftovers, I was looking through my email the other day, and I got an email from a site called Classmates, and I guess I must have signed up with them a long time ago because they keep reminding me that I have connections that want to talk or whatever from high school. Like, look, my high school is weird. So one of the things that's on that site that I saw was that they had my high school graduation yearbook, and I went through it and I remembered that I was part of the Gamers Club, which was pretty much the Dungeons and Dragons Club. It's funny because we try to get people in it, and our slogan was "We're not the chess club." Like that was helping. You ever seen the movie with Tom Hanks, Mazes and Monsters? That's pretty much what people thought. Anyway, just thinking about that and the fact that now Dungeons and Dragons has kind of become a little more popular now that like celebrities are playing it. Just this summer-ish, I think, I started watching Relics and Rarities, which Deborah Ann Wall from Daredevil and True Blood DM'd. Pretty good production. Every week they'd have a special guest. Like Kevin Smith was on, Charlie Cox, Matthew Lillard, and it was fun. Like she made it look fun again. And so I looked into playing. I have a group that plays once a month ish, depending on our schedule. It's kind of hard. I am trying to do a Star Wars one with the new Star Wars RPG. But what's cool now with the whole coronavirus thing, hashtag stay home, is that you can play online. And it's one of the things I'm trying to look into a little bit more, try to get more people to play online with me. So if you want to play, let me know. Weird thing is I have a weird schedule. Like I don't stay up too late. So this is when most people can play. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, let's cook. Hello and welcome to Binging with a Babbage. Just kidding. Today I'm going to be using a cast iron skillet. If you don't have one, I highly recommend it. It's very versatile. If you treat it well, it'll do many, many things. You can bake in it, you can grill-ish on it, use it as a griddle. I cook most things in here. Highly recommended, but you do have to take care of it, right? So there's a lot of videos on the YouTubes on how to take care of your cast iron. The reason why I like using this is because it retains heat very well, especially when you're using an induction burner. It kind of acts like how a wok does. So I used to work in a Chinese restaurant. That's where I kind of learned how to cook some of these things. In wok cooking, there's really a high heat in the bottom of the wok, and then as you go up the sides, it gets cooler. So when you're cooking, you kind of move things around. It's basically like stir frying. It's a high heat application, but sometimes when you're adding stuff, you want some things to cook slower than others. You kind of move it to the sides, up the sides of the wok. Here I can move everything to the outside because the way induction works on here is it only heats that ring. So it only heats kind of the middle part. So the outer edges don't actually heat up. That's kind of why I can handle the cast iron while cooking. If I was doing this on a flame burner, the flames will actually heat up the whole thing. It's just the way induction works. You can look it up. It's weird. Let's do this. Ingredient-wise, I have here rice. It's day-old rice. I put it in the refrigerator. I have 3 cloves of garlic that I crushed. I leave whole but smashed it so you can get all the oils and stuff out of it. I'm going to use this to infuse the oil. I have 2 eggs. I have a whole bunch of scallions, but I'm only going to use about a stalk's worth. I use these things as garnish for a lot of other things, so I have a bunch. And then for a meat product, this is about 2 or 3 slices of Spam, and then I cubed it up. For a Filipino breakfast, I think it's more traditional probably to serve slices and heat that up with fried egg. But this I'm just going to turn into a one whole dish itself because I only have one pot, or one pan, whatever. Let's do this. I'm going to put this on high. I'll let it heat up a little bit. Again, I'm going to use a neutral oil. That's grapeseed oil. You can't read that because it's like chalk marker, whatever. Of course, salt, pepper. I will be using MSG in this, or accent. It's just something that my family uses. And most Chinese places use as well. Obviously, there's a whole big myth about how MSG is like super bad or gives you headaches and whatever. It's all bumpkiss. I don't care. And little secret, now that I don't work in the restaurant industry, if you ask for no MSG in your Chinese food when I was cooking it, I left it in. Unless you said no salt also. Then I'm like, all right. Still getting hot. Speaking of Dungeons and Dragons, like, have you ever seen the movie that came out with Marlon Wayans and I think Jeremy Irons? What a big pile of horse that was, right? I remember when they announced they were making that movie, and like the guy who made it was like a big Dungeons and Dragons player. I'm like, sweet, someone who knows the game. And then we got that movie. I'm like, who the is this person who doesn't know the game and made it? It really didn't represent what Dungeons and Dragons was about. So, wish we could erase that from my memory. It's kind of like when Dragonlance had an animated movie. You're like, yes, Dragonlance. And then we got the animated movie, and you're like, why does this suck? I'm hoping one day someone will do Dungeons and Dragons, or I'll take Dragonlance Justice. I'm hoping Mr. Sofia Vergara, who's a big Dungeons and Dragons player, and I think he wants to produce a Dungeons and Dragons movie. I think could. I mean, hell, I'll even take Vin Diesel. He's a big Dungeons and Dragons player. Point is, it's COVID time. It's Dungeons and Dragons is not satanic. Learn how to play it. You can play it online now through like Roll20 or something like that. And when this whole thing blows over, it's a good thing to do with your friends, especially if you're in the film industry. A lot of showrunners right now learn their storycraft from Dungeons and Dragons because basically it's like storytelling, acting, improv, a little bit of math, but like basic math. You know, like adding numbers. It's good. All right, so it's smoking. So let's get some oil in here. First I want to do, again, I want to infuse that oil with the garlic. So I'm going to add that first. Now you want to move it around because you don't want to get it bitter. Some really color on there. Isn't the Dungeons and Dragons movie with something with like Jeremy Irons had blue lips? What was that about? Plus there was like no dungeons in it. So I'm moving around the oil to infuse it. Move it to the side. Then you want to add your eggs. You kind of just want to swirl it around, break the yolk. Throw in the meat, the Spam, whatever you want to call it. Come on, get in there. Get that cooking. You want to get that, have nice color. As you can see, I'm kind of moving the egg to the side because we don't want to overcook it. Why am I using 2 of these? It's just something I learned from the Chinese restaurant. We'd use one to scoop, one to push back, so you're kind of doing like this motion a lot. So I like using cast iron because it retains the heat. I do have a cast iron wok, but this won't work on this burner because it's too small. One day, I hope to get back into a gas stove situation. Alright. That's cooked a little bit. I think I'm going to add a little bit more oil. And now we add the rice. If you see any clumps, you kind of want to break it up. Want a good mix and everything. All right, I'm going to add a little bit of salt. A little bit of that MSG. And a little bit of cracked pepper for my lightsaber. Because awesome. Go ahead and mix that in. Now, if I was cooking traditional, or at least the fried rice that I learned how to make at the restaurant, you would also add in some sesame oil, sugar, dark soy sauce, which is like a thick soy sauce. Mix that in. Probably more vegetables, bean sprouts. I usually put chili oil in it, make a little bit of heat. That's pretty much it. I'm going to add the green onion at the end, so I didn't want it to totally wilt. Give it some color. A little bit of an oniony flavor. And there you go. This is my Filipino breakfast fried rice. So, voila! Here you go. Alright, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. We'll be coming out with more of these in the coming weeks. And if you do subscribe, make sure to hit the bell notification. That way you'll know whenever a new video pops up. Alright, so catch you next time.